Hey, Alex back again for Chapter 4 example. So this is um, Chapter 4 factory overhead. This is problem 4-2 variable and fixed cost analysis high-low method. And so I chose this one because it was one of my favorites. The high-low can sometimes be kind of strange. I said I'll just start with this method first. So, Blattner Company manufactures a product that requires the use of a considerable amount of natural gas to heat it to a desirable temperature. The process requires a constant level of heat, so the furnaces are maintained at a set temperature for 24 hours a day. Although units are not continuously processed, management desires that the variable cost be charged directly to the product and the fixed cost to factory overhead. And that is a legitimate request by management, because you're going to want to, when it comes to finding the cost of the product, the cost to heat the factory normally doesn't matter as much as the cost to run the machines to make the product or to keep to create it. And so the following data has been collected for the year. And so this is important because it's all about separating out the variable versus fixed, because fixed is just what you have to pay every month, no matter what. Because to have a factory, you're going to have overhead whether you make something or not. So right away you have cost. And then there's also cost in making the product. And so you got to keep them separated so you know what's a normal fixed cost that's just going to happen every month and what's a cost of the product that you're going to include into it. So as you can see here, we have every month, January through December, and this is the units, and this is the cost. And so we're going to, using the high-low method, we're going to break it down and factor out what's variable versus what's fixed. And so, as you can see here, I did it down here. Oh yeah, the questions are, the first one is separate the variable and fixed elements using the high-low method. 2, determine the cost to be charged to the product for the year. And 3, determine the cost to be charged to factory overhead for the year. So the first one is high-low. So the high volume of the month was January. The low volume was October. And so you break it down. So you put the units of the high over the units of the low. And then you take the difference. You subtract them. Same with the cost. You take the cost of the high and the cost of the low and subtract them, and you get a difference. And then what you do is you take the difference, you divide the cost difference by the unit difference. Remember to get that right, cost by the units. So the cost, the dollar amount by the units, gives you the per unit variable cost, which is, here it's $1, because it's 1,000 each. So now that we know the cost, variable cost, we can actually go ahead and figure out the fixed cost. So I put it up here, this is the 1,400 units, this is the 2,400 units. So October to January. Total cost for October was 3,400. Total cost for January was 4,400. Our variable cost, you take the dollar times the units, the dollar times the units. We got 1,400 for October, 2,400 for January. We subtract them. We get 2,000, 2,000. Fixed that's how you know you did it right when they both equal, because fixed costs are the same every month. And so, as you can see here, our fixed cost for January and October is 2,000. So we know that's our fixed. And so what we're going to do now is, that was number one. So after we figured out the variable and the fixed, what we're going to do now is, number 2 is determine the cost to be charged to the product for the year. So the way to do this is you have to add up all the units, and I did that, and I got 2,400 units. Now, you take that 2,400 times that dollar variable, gives you 24,000. That's the amount that should be charged to work in process, essentially. Just because per unit, if you made 2,400 units and it costs you $1 per variable, you're going to end up with 24,000 that you're actually charged to work in process. So that's going to be part of the unit cost. That way you know exactly what the product is costing you. Now the rest, I went ahead and added up all these costs, and I got 48,050. And so basically what I did with that is I went over here, and I already knew it took 24,000 of the product, so I took $48,050 minus the 24 I already figured out, gave me $24,050, which I'll just charge that to overhead, because that's pretty much the fixed cost. Yeah, every month is $2,000, and so that's the fixed. So $24,050 will be charged to the overhead, because that's just it's not part of the product. That's just the cost it's going to happen to meet, or the factory, every month. And so, yeah, that's it. That was a big problem, but a good one. And I hope it helped out a little bit, because the high-low is a good thing to know. And it kind of rhymed right there. But I hope this helped, and I'm going to go ahead and try to do chapter 5 tomorrow. And that's a beast. See, that's the thing about cost accounting is the book gets harder and harder to understand, because it just gets because you don't need to learn everything in the book compared to the classroom. There's only certain things you need to know in the classroom, because the book has a lot more in it than you need to know. But I hope this helped, and I will see you for the next one. So thank you.